Today, Cooper and I have two fantastic Martin OMs. I've got a Martin OM-28. You've got what?
I got a 21.
What's the difference? About 7. No, we're going to tell you, so stay tuned. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, comment below. If you'd like to support the channel, visit our spring store linked below for our custom designed t-shirts. So Cooper, good question. I've got an OM-28. You've got an OM-21.
Yep.
Other than a factor of 7,
Yeah.
what the heck's the difference between these two?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I posted on our Instagram yesterday a picture of both of these, and a few people knew the difference, which is cool.
About $400.
Yeah, $400. That's really it. So remember to like and subscribe. We'll see you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I was down in the warehouse.
Yeah.
We were blessed by the Martin gods and got some guitars in, actually. So I saw the 21 down there. I knew we had a 28 upstairs, brought it up, and I had never played one of these. Mm-hmm. And so I was really interested just to see if I could pick out the differences, you know, aesthetically, and if there's anything under the hood that's different. I don't believe so. But it's weird because the 28 is such the desirable number. And then I was wondering what differentiates it. So I have a few questions for you, actually, to get started. So obviously the number in the model, 0028, D28, OM-28, whatever it is, differentiates from like an 18 mahogany, 28 rosewood. Are we dealing with like that first number is like the back and sides wood? Is it as intuitive of a thing as Taylor,
No.
or is that just for no reason?
It's not as well, like, it's not as directly as translatable as what Taylor does, but you can look at the series numbers to an extent in this way, that a series number represents both the tone woods and the aesthetics of the series.
Yeah.
And I say that to an extent because Martin has kind of broken their own rule, if it was a rule, in that regard with some of the other series, like in the 16 series. The 16 series has varying
Just whatever they want.
appointments and tone woods, and so it doesn't really apply there. But in most of the standard series, it does follow. So the 18s are all going to be spruce and mahogany, period.
Yeah.
Right? And they all have the same kind of aesthetics that follow. The 28s are all spruce and rosewood. In fact, pretty much everything above an 18 series is spruce and rosewood. And I'd love for Martin to introduce a series in there that like has maple or something, but I digress. And then each of these series typically have the same appointments.
Yeah.
Now that's varied a little bit over the years, but with the reimagining of the standard series, that did kind of bring that back in line. And so what you saw on the 28 series is the same binding and inlay and tuners, things of that nature. Same thing with the 21, the 35s and so forth. Yeah. So that's pretty much how it breaks down.
Before we get into these, one last question on Martin's series. So we like the 15 series. Mm-hmm. We love it even. And I don't believe there's a spruce top in the 15 series.
Occasionally there is. Right?
So it's like, why do all these, in the 15, we all know it's mahogany, and they got to remind us with the M.
There's an exception to every rule.
Yeah.
So they have, it's not currently part of production, but in the past, they've done a spruce topped D15. So it was like a D15 special.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, it was. I think we did a video on it, and I called it a poor man's kind of D18. Now,
that's derogatory.
I will also say, sure, poor man who's buying how expensive a guitar. I will also say that there's some other things too, and I'm speculating on this. Martin hasn't confirmed nor denied stuff, but I'll put it to you this way: if you read the specs of a 15 series, and I love the 15 series, and you look to see what it is, it says mahogany. But if you look at an 18 series, it says genuine mahogany.
Snakes.
Well, I suspect that what that means is that maybe they're using, I don't think it's sapele, but maybe they're using something that's not Honduran mahogany. Yeah. And Taylor's kind of doing this too, but specifying. So there's Honduran mahogany that's the same species grown in Fiji. It's the same actual wood, but it's grown in Fiji, and Taylor's calling it Fiji mahogany. But but technically it's Honduran mahogany, but it's not in Honduras. So it might be something like that. It might be a different species altogether, and the 18 is actual Honduran mahogany. I don't know. It's kind of like with the necks on Martins. These are select hardwood.
Yep.
Which means they could be mahogany, they could be sapele, they could be Spanish cedar. It's a suitable neck wood, and they all typically look about the same, feel the same. So it's okay. If you want something that's mahogany, you buy a more expensive one or you go to the custom shop. It just is what it is. It's how manufacturers deal with material issues and whatnot. But in this particular case, these guitars are very close to identical.
Yeah. So first thing to notice, the 28's got the herringbone around the body. This has nothing, no body inlay.
Right.
However, binding-wise, with like an aged white or ivory, however they refer to it on there, this looks black if you can see it, but it's tortoiseshell, which...
No tortoises were injured in the making of this guitar.
It's faux.
Faux tortoiseshell.
A little faux tort. And that's, I guess, the biggest aesthetic difference besides the rosette, right?
And the inlay. So you've got a different rosette. This is a 28 style.
And this is...
I think it's actually an 18 style.
Okay.
Same thing with the backstrap. And then you've got dot inlays on that, which are very cool because, and I'll tell you why I like these. They're small dot inlays.
Yeah.
I've gone on record, the old 0028 had non-scalloped bracing, a pale top, and big old dot inlays with Grover tuners, and I did not like those guitars.
That's what turns me off on the 35 too, the big old dot.
Yeah, I mean, some people love it, and on a bigger guitar, I think it can work, but on a smaller body, I prefer the small dots in the ebony fingerboard.
So you have on the back the 28 style strip.
Yep.
Where's this guy?
Yeah, it doesn't.
It kind of looks nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows off the...
It's just an aesthetic choice.
It's almost gives me the vibe of like the single redwood top of the, all the different... And it's just because of this specific piece or two pieces. I think it looks nice.
The neck heel, this matches the binding.
Yep.
So yeah, there's all these little details. They have the same tuners.
Open gear.
Of course, different inlay. So that's got the dots. This has abalone, the snowflake.
Diamonds and
diamond snowflake
like
one. And they both have the same headstock applique. So
same bridge pins.
And inside, it's very much the same.
Yeah.
So they are both OMs, which means they have the same scale length, they have the same nut width, they have the same neck carve, they have the same string spacing, they have the same bracing, which is 1/4 inch scalloped bracing. So they are very much the same. Now, one thing that this also has, even though they are both the same tone wood, these are both Sitka spruce tops with East Indian rosewood back and sides. This will have a higher grade of rosewood. Now, I think for the most part, that represents the most affordable OM with rosewood back and sides in Martin's catalog. I believe that's still correct in saying. And then this one is just a few $100s more in the 28 series. As you move up the line with Martin, just like with many other manufacturers, they have sorted this wood as it comes in, and they have kind of earmarked the better pieces for the higher end guitars. So as you go up to a 28, you get up to like a 42 or a 45, those have higher end wood. And typically you'll see that on the top. And the way that you'll notice that on the top is it'll be blemish free. It'll have very uniform grain. It may not be tight grain, it's uniform. And then there's things that you can't see with your naked eye that they can see when it's called candling, but they basically hold it up to like a drafting table and they can see through the wood for defects that maybe you wouldn't see on the surface. So that's how they sort through the wood, and you'll notice it on the tops. It's really easy to see it on the tops. If you look at anything from any manufacturer that has a spruce top on a high-end version of one of their guitars and a low-end version of one of their guitars, you'll see more blemishes. And the grain will maybe start moving and there might be run out, things like that. On the back and sides, if we look at this, this is rosewood, that's rosewood. Now, this one is a little tighter grain, and it's got some different coloring, and it's more uniform. The backs both look pretty straight, but if you look at the sides, on the treble side of yours, that's the bass side.
I'm looking at both. Go on.
It looks a little curvy, at least when I was looking at it from this end. You can see a little bit of movement in the grain, and it's fine. It just... Typically on rosewood, you want a more uniform grain.
Yeah, it's moving a little bit. I mean, it's like the kind of thing that I think 99.5 KISS percent of people would like.
Are we giving a local radio station free advertising?
Yeah, it's the 3 o'clock rock block right now, I think. But no, I think most people would not mind a ton, but also
most people don't mind, and most people can't hear a difference.
Yeah.
If there is one, how discernible is it?
Yeah.
And I think it matters more on the top really than the back and sides. It matters, but I think it matters more on the top.
Yeah, and I think if you are going to be paying the upcharge for, say, a 28, it's something you would expect if you know what to look for, you know?
Yeah.
But it's weird because it's not like this is a rare guitar, but it's way less common that we get the 21s in here.
Do you want to know why?
Why? Because they make way less?
No, I'll tell you. I mean, I order less.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of the 21. I'm a big fan of the 18. I'm a big fan of the 28s. And I have liked to keep a 21 in stock. But you and I work on this together. We kind of figure out what sells, what people want, what we like. Sometimes we stock stuff that we just like because we want you to like it. We understand that this is a superior instrument or whatever. Like it already. So, but I've liked to stock the 21s. We've typically had fewer of them because they don't sell as well. So because for $400 more, you can get a 28.
Yeah.
And as we've covered aesthetic differences in wood grading, the fact of the matter is, for most of you who are watching this channel, you just want to know, you want to own an OM-28 because it says inside OM-28. Fair enough?
I think that's fair, and that's very true throughout a lot of different guitar stuff and through everything. One last question. Does yours have a diamond volute?
It does have the diamond volute. Yeah, that is a distinction. Let's talk about what that is. This is actually interesting. I'm glad you brought this up because I'm going to go on a diatribe here. So this diamond volute is here on the 28s, and it's not there on the 21s or the 18s. And it represents a little detail from Martin lore, from yesteryear of how guitars were made. Here's the thing, though. The reason that old Martins used to have a volute is because the necks were two-piece. Yeah, you heard me right, Martin aficionado. The necks were two-piece, and I say it that way because some people are like, two-piece necks are garbage, or they're weaker, or whatever. They're actually not, okay? They save material, which is what Martin was doing back in the golden era when they were making a two-piece neck and using this volute. And so the volute was carved there because this was a piece that extended over the second piece, which was the headstock that came in to make this joint really strong. Now, this joint is plenty strong. I mean, if you step on it on the floor, you're going to break it. But a two-piece joint with a volute like this is actually stronger, and you then have the grain line running parallel with the strings. So if you look at this, okay, right now, the way this is all cut from one piece. So this angle has to be taken out of a piece of mahogany or Spanish cedar, whatever it is, and you can imagine how thick the wood has to be to machine this angle into it, right? Well, what happens is you're going to have grain run out. So the end of the grain starts running perpendicular to the tension of the strings rather than parallel. And what that can lead to is breakage. Now, these are plain strong, but if you ever see one of these break from like dramatic damage dropped or someone stepped on it, it'll usually break not at the volute, but along the headstock line somewhere. So a little bit of history and trivia for you of how they do that. And, you know, Taylor has taken a lot of flack from people because they make a three-piece neck. Not so much anymore. Now a lot of manufacturers are doing it. But they do a very similar thing. Yeah. It's not with a volute, but if you look at the back of a neck, you can see that Furch does it.
Together,
like a lot of manufacturers do that now. But back, 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, people thought that was a really crummy thing. And it's more kind of guitar nonsense, honestly.
Well, I want
Gibson should add volutes to their guitars.
They should, to every single one. That's a whole video. I want to hear them. What are you going to be playing on?
So I'm going to play three pieces, pretty similar to what we normally play. By the way, I know more than 6 guitar songs, but we tend to play a lot of the same stuff so you can compare videos over the years. So we're going to run these through. I really like Martin small bodies with a light touch. You can flat pick them. And so that's what I do in this demo. If you try to just hammer home like you would on an HD28, you're not going to be very happy. These respond to a lighter touch. But you can flat pick. We do some of that, play some fingerstyle stuff. And then where I think these really shine, like OM Martins is great for like bluesy stuff.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, Eric
Definitely.
Clapton has a signature, you know, small body
Triple
Martin.
28, right?
Yeah, and a 42 model too. Anyways.
EC.
Yeah, so
Cool.
that's what we're going to do. So you can hear the differences, or maybe not so many differences for yourself. Check it out. So there you go. Did you hear any differences? That's kind of the question. And really, there shouldn't be a lot. Now, I will say this. Between these two guitars, not speaking about these two models, the setup on this one I like a little bit better than the setup on that one. And that does affect a little bit of how it sounds. And there's just, it's wood. These are made from trees. And they are all a little bit different from one another. But these are pretty close to being the same model.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was cool pulling this out. It's almost makes you realize how much herringbone does to like make something look somewhat luxurious. But I kind of grew to like this one a lot as I was playing around on it this week. And it's cool, tortoise shell, all that kind of thing. I'm probably one of the types of people that you're talking about though that would be like, man, I need a 28,
I would buy the 28, and I'll tell you why. I prefer the inlay. I prefer the binding on it. So aesthetically, I like that. I like the herringbone look. And we're not talking about a considerable upcharge, again, which is why I think we sell so many of these. You can get this with a pickup. That one is not offered with a pickup. So if you look at this on Martin's website, you'll see a range in price. And occasionally on our website, you'll see these as an E model, or you can spec that. So if you ever want like an OM-28E, just call us and we can order that for you with some pickup options. So that's different. But yeah, I would probably get this because aesthetically, I just kind of like the look of it.
Yeah. But if you didn't know about the 21, fits your style, now you do.
The 21 does not get enough love. It's kind of like we've done videos on the M36.
Yeah.
These are guitars that don't get enough love in Martin's. I mean, we say it's only $400 more. That is maybe not an insubstantial amount. That would more than pay for a really nice aftermarket pickup or some other stuff. And so, and some people prefer the aesthetics of the 21. So I've actually sold a lot of 21 to friends of mine, and they've been very happy with them. So
yeah, they're cool. Check them out. alamomusic.com. Learn about them.
Chat with Cooper on the website and find out more. And this isn't even adding to the fray the triple O 28, which I've done a comparison on with this one, and different scale lengths and bracing and a whole nother bag of worms to get into. But that's why we do this channel. Is to get into the minutia, talk about it, help you kind of learn the differences and figure out what the best guitar is for you, because at the end of the day, the best guitar in the world is just the one that you're playing. Doesn't matter if it's a 21 or a 28 or a 42 or a 15 or what have you, whether it's got a volute or not. We just want you playing. That's why we do this channel. So if you aren't already, make sure you hit subscribe, turn on notifications, smash that like button for us. And if you want to have fun with us over on Patreon, where Cooper's doing some really cool lessons, we've got some other exclusive content over there. Check out the link in our description to learn about becoming an Alamo Music Insider. So, as always, I'm Chris.
Cooper.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.